Oh my gosh, we're so tiny.
I know that's not good. I don't
What
like
is
it.
happening here?
I don't know, cameraman. Why are we so teeny weeny?
Let's see. Oh, there. Now we're like
Very
big.
good. That's very good.
Very
Yes,
good. Let's
cameraman.
maybe
Very
like
nice.
this.
But I don't know
That's
why my background isn't showing. I normally have my background.
maybe because you're on StreamYard. So Ruben is joining us on
Ah,
YouTube.
very good.
And Ruben met you at Gen Con, and we were just chatting before the show, and is about to run the Darkest Dream for the family, getting ready for it. So, in the chat, if anyone has suggestions for running the Darkest Dream for the first time, give us. I know that we've done some tips before, but give us like your best like one tip, and we'll put them up on screen for Ruben. So
I actually logged in today, cameraman. So, oh, but it
logged
says I
in.
have to connect my YouTube account. I don't understand. Anyway, I can't comment, but at least I can see the chat today, which is great because I usually can't do that, when we're doing it in the studio.
Yeah. So, how are you doing out in California?
We are doing all right. So
Uh,
thanks to everyone for the kind messages. Yes, this is a saga. My dear Granny Goo, she is 86 years old and feisty as ever, and we're trying to deal with some, situations since she fell and bumped her head. And so we're trying to figure out care and other things like that. And it has been a little hard on Ms. Goo, as you know, Camera So
yeah.
we we are battling well, and so many people have sent nice messages, and I've shared them with Ms. Goo, and she laughs all the time. She says, "All your nerd friends are so sweet." So, so it is a little challenging, but we're giving it our best, and I'm glad that the last week has shown some significant improvements in a number of areas. So I'm in a pretty good mood today because of all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh,
anyway,
my
Granny
tip,
Goo.
Granny Goo. Yes,
86, moving on 87. That's pretty impressive, cameraman.
uh, it is pretty impressive. Let's make her go to 100.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it though?
I know. I don't
So,
think I'll make it, but I think Ms. Goo has a chance.
okay. So Ken says, Ruben, join us on Discord in the GM channel. We have lots of great suggestions for running Chapter One. I ran my 8th session of Chapter One this past week, so I'm just a little ahead of you. My suggestion for Ruben is also to join the Discord. That's a really, really good suggestion, Ken. Also, try and just make sure that the Hanatas feel like family to your players when they're first starting out. So they've grown up probably with this troop, and so they would have those family connections. And it could be a little difficult when you're like supposed to have known these people your whole lives, but you're starting a new campaign. So yeah, just kind of set the scene and give them some
You know,
flexibility with learning them.
if you
Yeah.
just build like one NPC relationship with each NPC, right?
Mhm.
Excuse me, with each PC,
So,
that
like,
really
each
helps.
PC has a NPC that they yes, like, so if you play Catherine, t actually 2 of the NPCs are her parents,
Her
and
parents?
so yeah, so they're already connected in that way, and that's a really easy bond to right off the bat.
Yep,
So,
exactly
yeah,
right. Exactly
so
right. And then the other thing is, just in case, because there are some older versions out there, we originally used to say to try to run Carnival over a single day, and that was my mistake. It was not a good thing to do. So it is better to run Carnival over a couple, 3 different days, and that also gives you a chance to add in some of your own flavor if you want to add more, because a lot of so it's interesting. There's obviously different tables play different ways, and this is the fascinating thing about any of these adventures is how they play out, right?
mhm.
Some tables want to experience the entire content, right? They want to experience every booth. They want to go to every wagon. They want to see everything that's going on. They want to play all the games and do all that stuff. And others sort of just want to get to the action, right? And so, and then there's sort of in between, right? There are people who are in between. And so some folks could easily make Carnival a 3 or 4 game day session, and others maybe 1 to 2 is better for that table. But honestly, if you do carry it more longer, if you carry it more 3 to 4 days, it does give you a chance. If you want to start adding some little side things of your own, it gives you much more room to add those. I'm looking at Jariki's there. Hold on a second. Yes.
Yes. So, and Ruben, we were talking about
Good.
3 in-game days. So, Your sessions will probably be like 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. That's about the average that we find. So depending on how long your sessions go for, I know some people do like 12-hour sessions. So that could be 3 actual days, but I imagine it was more like 6 or 7 game days.
Yes, and the only thing you really want to remember is depending on how many days you change it, we are really striving to have this Dark Tides Eve thing happen on a certain date in the calendar. It's pretty important if your players keep track of days very much at all. If you keep track of
Alphinius, I feel that is probably pretty rare in groups that they're actually keeping track of calendar days.
That's true. That's true.
So,
but you don't.
But for the deep nerds who are like, yes.
But what you don't want to do is play it over 3 days and have the thing say it's coming in one day, right? So that'd be a problem, right? Because you got to have Dark Tide fall where Dark Tide falls.
That's fair. So I have a few more things coming in. Have an NPC appear in the morning session with Borog and Rolf. Accuse the player, Hanataz, of kidnapping Sandama. It sets up some great role play. This is a good example, Ruben. We want you to take our materials and adapt them to what suits you and your table. So don't ever feel like you have to go by like the letter of what we write in there. And Josh says, I let my players role play the troop members as NPCs, so they also get a chance to do both, which is a great way
that is a great idea. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Again, it's interesting because most tales, player relationships are with NPCs are typically relatively superficial. It's just because you're moving from place to place and you're going from here to there and all that stuff. But every once in a while, you do have some constancies, right? Various characters that tend to show up on a consistent basis in an adventure, all that kind of stuff. But this is truly being very intentional about expanding that NPC player relationship to the point where hopefully there's attachments, and that's the goal. So,
yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and keep us. We have so much to do today. Really quickly, I want to show some gifts I got. So David Bedavitis sent me a dice bag that is a hat, which is perfect because I actually got dice from Wit and Matt that actually have, I don't know if you can see, little hats on them, which is so cute. So I'm going to put those in this dice bag. And they're also purple, and people might know this because my hair is purple, but purple is my favorite color. But David also
sent me the color of corruption, Camera Mendy.
That's fine. I'm okay with it. He also sent me though a deep troll gift. I don't even know who even told people that I don't like. I'm genuinely terrified of whales and orcas. But he sent me dice that have orcas in them.
Yeah, it's just whales in general, though, right, Camera Mendy?
I mean, whales in general, but orcas particularly haunt my nightmares. It was the scene in Free Willy where he's like spray painting the tank, and there's a flash of lightning, and then the orca appears out of nowhere, and then that was the start of it. That was the thing that terrified me, and then it is always just giant creatures in the water in general is like super creepy. So anyway, thank you, David. Both gifts are fabulous, and we'll see what I do with those orca dice. I also wanted to plug Moon Gate Exploration. They had a couple Kickstarters, and they have these great, they're a D6 heist type game. And they have all these fun like supplements. So this one is obviously vampires. We got clowns. This one's Office Zombie. And so anyway, if you're looking for just like little Halloween games that you could play with your family or friends, I recommend. This is Stacy, who's a huge member of our community, one of our game masters. A bunch of people in our community are part of Moongate, and she's even published with Geeky Hoodie, and cannot recommend her stuff enough. So I just want to do a little plug there. And then let's get started with everything else we got going on. So yeah, I know we got like a crazy day here. Okay, so let's start.
And don't forget, we got to do the hashtag portrait along the road here, but not right now.
But soon. So on that note, I have decided that we will do our drawing in 3 weeks. So I think that's January 20. No, I don't want to say. Let me just look really quickly. 27th. So in 3 weeks, you got 3 more weeks to get entries in, and we'll do the entries in a little bit here. But we'll be pulling the winners for that on the 27th of September. So very exciting. And then I actually have some really cool ideas for some giveaways coming up here, which we will talk about afterwards. So, but before we get to all of that, let's talk about gaming. Just that happened all over Labor Day weekend, and kind of something that we're trying out here. So, Lawrence joined our team, and that has helped me be able to do a little bit more. And one of the things that we're kind of slowly starting to integrate is doing more gaming that is not that we're not at. So like letting our game masters
Well,
go.
because we don't have enough. There's only so many days that you have as human beings, right? So
Yes.
so the ability for us to be at 26 conventions is impossible. But
Like Josh
because-
says, I ran Gooey Games at SaltCon last week. Josh, if you message me, I'll send you stuff. That's the thing. Is like, so
Josh, if you take
Yeah.
pictures, we'd post them up in the den too.
I'm just saying, yeah. So what we're trying to do though is a little program where people who have game mastered for us, who we know are really good, who we trust, who we know are going to show up to their games, we're allowing them to we're sending them out some modules or pre-gens or whatever they need to run their games, and just letting them take the wheels, and that way we can spread the goo. So I just have a little bit more time to be able to do that. I didn't have the flexibility to be able to do that before. So thanks, Lawrence, for letting us do that. This weekend was really the first pilot test of this. And we had Pam, who actually like EO'd Pacificon and like did actually quite a few games.
Yes,
and so she was posting pictures of the games happening at Pacificon. There's Amber, who I know a lot of you guys know from the chat, and Lance was out there, and Mark, and like they all like ran a bunch of games, and it looks like a blast. And we actually got like several online sales from it, and it was just awesome. And then Richard and Jay, who we met at GaryCon, they ran at Grand Con, which is a Midwest convention, over the weekend. And look how full and happy these tables are. And it just literally warms my heart. It just makes me so happy. And Joe and a bunch of our people were up at Tacticon. Lawrence went up there. There's Danny. I actually took a picture of Danny. Look at him wearing his Gooey green shirt, and he's a
so
Gooey
cute.
Cube, guys. I'm just saying, I love Danny. Anyway, this weekend was awesome for gaming for Gooey Cube. And we are looking at doing more of this kind of stuff. And I don't want to make any promises. This has been a very slow rollout, but just keep an eye on more information coming out if you're interested in running at like a local convention here. So Ruben says Grand Con was great. So Ruben, this episode is dedicated to you because he's also watching on YouTube, which makes me so happy because this is like our third week streaming on YouTube. So
we just got started doing
it. I know YouTube is so new to us, and I just love it. Okay, so great weekend of Gooey Gaming, and I've already got email like from Joe this morning. He's looking at running some out in Miami. So we are really excited about this new little thing that we're trying out, and we'll see if we can keep it up. So. Okay.
Well, we have a lot of people who love to run games,
yes.
And the local cons are wonderful, and there's just no way we can get to them all. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm very excited for it, and love the fact that we're getting this wonderful feedback too from people about how good the games are and all of that stuff. That makes your day,
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. So if this is something you're interested in, like I said, reach out to me and let me see what I like. I only have so much bandwidth, and I'm trying to like kind of make this a slow thing so that way I can kind of build up. What do they call it when you like have to build up momentum and then it like just becomes easy? You know what I'm talking about?
Building up momentum.
I'm just ramping. I'm ramping it up. So sorry, I'm all excited about it. Anyway, all that to say though, official Get games at GenghisCon will be happening. And GenghisCon is like VIG badges are on sale. GenghisCon is our home convention. We'll have loads of games there. We're working on a new opening show. So we're going to be debuting something brand new. We're going to be debuting Goo Done It Darkenhaven, which I had a call with Corey this week about Goo Done It Darkenhaven. I'm really excited about that. I feel like I'm talking just like so much today. Alphinius.
Camera Mandy, have you had multiple cups of coffee this
I
morning?
have. I've had like 3, but I've normally had 3.
Have you had any
That's just
cocaine?
normal.
Have you had cocaine? That's
No. I know I just
Hey, I know
went
you
like
don't.
this, like right as I said
Like,
that, but I
oh
have
no,
not.
I'm not
I have not.
anything.
This is a family-friendly show. Okay, so anyway, very excited and about Genghis coming. So come join us. It's a great weekend of
Phenomenal.
gaming, and
Yes.
we're going to be having some new stuff. Oh, okay. So this is fun. I think I'm talking because you have been in California, so I don't know how much of this stuff you know. But David and Michelle met up. I did not know this was happening. This is how I ended up with my gifts, because David gave Michelle the gifts, who then came out to Colorado and did a Rob Thomas. I don't know. Alphinius, I'm asking you, do you know if it's Rob Thompson or Rob Thomas?
I don't know I don't know the context of what we're speaking of. So
This is why I'm talking so much, I guess. But yeah, they came out and she did a concert with like Lawrence and Joseph.
Oh, that's right.
And
They went
Casey.
to some
Thomas.
I
It's
don't
Thomas.
listen,
Rob
I don't
Thomas.
keep up with these concert people. I'm an old man. I go to things like Glenn Miller remakes.
Fair enough.
I listen to classical music on the radio. This is what when you are an old man, this is what you do. You right? So Rob Thompson, Rob Thomas, it's all the same to me.
It's Rob Thomas. So anyway, but she put it in the bench.
Question does anybody know what Rob Thomas? What kind of music? He was
from Matchbox 20, and I don't know. Does
anybody know who Matchbox 20 is?
Rock. It's rock. Thank you, Michelle. She's answering all the comments for us. Anyway, Michelle, you know what? This is so sweet. So she bought 4 tickets and just posted in the den and said, who in Colorado wants to come out and join me? And she got this great crew. Casey, by the way, is our Gooey Community Spotlight Member of the Week. Casey Redkin is an incredible, she's the
Amazing
woman who's right there in the left, or the right, left, I don't know, the bottom quarter, who's not Michelle. Anyway, and she is the dearest, most fun person in the world. And this crew for the concert just looks like they had a blast. So anyway, Adam says actually listened to Matchbox 20 for the first time last night. So, and
all right,
anyway.
I commit to it, Camera Mandy. I will listen to Matchbox 20
okay,
before the next stream.
Sounds good. We'll give an analysis of Matchbox 20 in the next stream.
Although Ms. Goo, while we've been out here, has put the station on classic rock, right? So I'm listening to all this stuff from the 70s and the 80s, right? And driving around all these streets, right? And where I grew up, where I was but a boy, right? What did Scrooge say? I was apprenticed here, right? Something like that. Yeah. So we're driving around listening to this classic rock, and it is really weird how memories come back that you had not thought of in many years, right?
It's like a sensory memory.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And
I love that with like smells too.
Yes.
So but yeah, like it's crazy how it can just transport you. So
yes. Amazing and really been wonderful. So you're driving along and some song from Journey comes on, or some song from Led Zeppelin, or some song from, oh goodness gracious, the Bangles, I don't know, whatever, they come on this classic rock station, right? And you're driving along and all of a sudden you're like, damn, I'm 17 years old again. This is really weird,
DQ Hoodie says 80s music is classic rock now. Ugh.
I think 70s music is geezer rock. So let's just be clear about that. Geezer rock. And see, now this is the truth. Now Chet Minton has indeed exposed another of the great snail plots with this post.
Ruben's gonna be like, snails. Ruben, if you watch the show, you're gonna be surprised by how many snails thing. Really, Ruben, if you're not in the Gooey Game Master Son of Enlightenment on Facebook, we got to get you in there so that way you can get all
I agree, Ruben. You must join, because there is all manner of wasted time
and inside jokes. This little critter though is adorable, but I could 100% see it being an assassin, or
you ingest this damn thing, and the next thing you know, there are 3,000 of them in your stomach.
That's funny. Okay. Oop, wrong way. Rick was playing a game that Neil was running. So this is a Starfinder 2E
Yes.
game, and it just looked like a lot of fun. It's a Pathfinder game. So we got some interesting stats back. Carrie Melsom went through and accumulated all the stats from Gen Con, and it does look like Pathfinder is second to D&D in terms of popularity at Gen Con. But with that said, D&D like blows it out of the water in terms of how many games are being run and attended. So D&D is still king, but it does seem like Pathfinder kind of creeps up. So
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. The truth of the matter is, the systems are out there, and the market is big enough to support, multiple systems. It's just when you look at what I think the real market share is, my best guess, because nobody really knows. Um, I think D&D, in one fashion or another, still consumes about 70% of the total game mastery, perhaps even a little bit more, perhaps a little bit less. But it's still a behemoth. And remember, because all of us are real extra nerds, right? We're all of us are extra nerds. We play multiple games, we play card games, right? Board games, right? We play all this stuff, because we love games. This is us, right? This is who we are as human beings. And there's lots of people who play games as well, but they don't have the level of enthusiasm that most of us have. They play them, right? I mean, I know quite a few people who play Dungeons and Dragons and have never gone to a convention, for example, in their life, right?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, super nerds. I agree with that. Haha. Yes, we need a theme song.
Geeky asked, would Zyathé ever go to space?
So Geeky, we planned for this in the long ago times, and you were around, and I think you might even remember. So there is the magnificence. Of course, everything about Zyathé, we all have to remember, is fantastical science, right? And we did our best to try to make plausible science, right? That works, right? With the creation of alims and alimic fractals, and the fact that all of things are made of 20-sided dice, basically these little 20-sided dice that all come together and make matter. So in the time of the Etherns, and of course, thinking about that, physics in a world of magic is going to not be like physics in our world. And that's one thing you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit in that regard, because the energy that fuels everything is, of course, the Zyathus, right? It holds everything together. It makes things move. It makes things possible. All of that stuff. It spawns life, blah, 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 right? So this is the energy, right, of life, and is the Zyathus. So we did have a wonderful, massive Ethernic skyship called Galganoth, which did fly off prior to the Woe of Ruin. And this is because we wanted to have goo in space. I think there's lots of goo in space when I actually think about it for a minute, but that's a different topic. When you think about the opportunities of what you can do, right, with a fantastical science rather than sort of a science of our real world, I think there's a lot of room to move. And so we did not want to put Zyathé in a position where that didn't and couldn't happen. And so that is Galganoth, and that is part of the I can't hold it, Captain.
Okay, we have a good question here. I have a question with the D&D Beyond open game license issue last year. Lots of people have started their own systems. Do you feel it has helped the game or hurt it as a whole? I would argue I think it has helped the game. I think it's hard for creators like us, because now we're in a position of like there's so many different systems, and how do we cater to all fans of all systems of all TTRPGs, and like which systems are going to actually succeed, which ones would we convert, because converting our stuff is difficult. Right now Lawrence and Iad are in the slog of reviewing the OSC version of our Guys and Gax materials, and to get it all right is difficult. There's a lot of nuances to each individual
Only
system.
the environs come, Mendy, because we're already printing the tomb. So the tomb, and we're printing the other environs. We're just the OSC thing got us a little behind on that, and so we worked on that.
Yeah. So but overall, though, for like the gaming community, like I think it's a positive thing. I think overall having more options, having things that people might be able to connect to more, more role play for the role players, more mechanics for people who enjoy crunchier games. Like, I think having a system that you can fall in love with, I think it's awesome. So, what
There
about
is a
you?
part of this old wizard that wants us to become more like the old Judges Guild in the days of yore, which created adventures that were compatible with any fantasy game system.
Well, and this is the follow-up question was, do you see there being a GUI system? I don't think that we would create our own system. We've talked about it before, but like we don't it's like trying to create, okay, so like why are we on Facebook, we're on Facebook even though we hate Facebook because that's where people are and they're already there. So in order, like, it's amazing what Critical Role is doing with Daggerheart. Like, it's phenomenal to see that they've had so much success so far with it, but they also have such a broad audience already that, you know and yet they're still not running it on their mainstream yet. So
Well, and
it's
again, I
interesting.
just want to make sure everyone is aware that even having a wonderful success like Magnificent Kelsey did, right?
Mhm.
And having this magnificent success that they are having with Daggerheart, you still in the world of marketing, you still, when you have a market of 10 to 20 million people, which is somewhere probably what the role-playing game thing is, right? 10 to 20 million people, small fractions of that community can still give a nice little success to a smaller business. But you're not going to build some massive business on those kinds of things, right? I mean, Paizo is certainly the most credible contender, at least as far as I can tell, in terms of market share. They're the most credible contender for second place. And even them, I think, have only a relatively small fraction of the market. Okay, but to answer the question, because I think the question is a great question, I think it absolutely did help the game.
Mhm.
Or sorry, not the game. It helped TTRPG, right? Is what it helped. And it has been magnificent and wonderful to have alternative options. It has been magnificent and wonderful for people to be able to experience those things. But I would bet if you did the research on it, that you will find that most people have only played just one or two systems for many, many years because they kind of get locked into one and they play. And you still have people even today still only playing, as you all know, first edition, right? Most of those being AD&D, the original books. So, but yes, I think I could not agree with you more, Cameron Mendy. I think it's been a wonderful thing for the
Yeah.
game.
That's actually has sparked a good conversation in the chat. I'm just gonna read a few of the comments.
Yeah, please.
Um,
Well, you can post
uh,
them up if you want.
yeah. Okay. A straightforward conversion, if you were looking for a new system, would be Tale of the Valiant by Kobold Press. But I think sticking with 5e is the way to go. There's no reason to convert all of the old stuff. We want new stuff. So,
Me too.
yeah. And that is the thing, is it is a lot of work. Question: Gooey Dagger Heart stuff when? Um, I'm not going to talk too much about this. I will just say that there have been some talks, but no promises. So, fair, Alphinius?
Well, that's enough for right now, Cameron
Yes.
Mendy.
So, with that said, with this said, one of the new things that we're starting to kind of do with our convention games is, if like a game master is interested in running our modules and converting it for Shadow Dark, or Andy has been doing Savage Worlds. We are giving flexibility to our game masters to run games in different systems if they do the conversions for it. So I think at GaryCon we will have a number of Dagger or Shadow Dark games, and a number of uh, maybe, I don't know that we're gonna do Daggerheart quite yet, so we'll see. But I think there will be Shadow Dark at GaryCon. So
I do want to say
and
Pam makes a very good point in her
which one's
point
that?
right above. She says that we all sort of invest, right?
Mhm.
When you think about buying books and buying materials and all of that stuff, that is system dependent, right? And that when you start putting money into those kinds of things, now you start thinking about switching. Now you have to go get more books, and not just you, the players that you're playing with have to get them. And then there is not just the investment of money, there is the investment of time to learn the new rules, to really understand them, right? To make sure that you can play them, versus when you've been playing something for 10 years and you kind of know all the nuances, it does make it easier and honestly, in many ways, more enjoyable to run the game, because you don't have to spend a lot of time questioning rules and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, it's Andy's like, I dropped in late and now we're talking systems. Why did I drop in late? Anyway,
yes,
so
you
we did not
turkey.
expect
No,
this.
you're
Yeah.
thinking you should never
So
be late, you turkey.
okay. Anyway, all this to say, there are conversations, but there's no promises, and we will see where it takes us. But ultimately, if you look at the stats from Gen Con, which I would argue that Gen Con is a very good sample of what um, our community looks like. There was 15,000 plus games run of D&D, and like the next closest I think was like 4,000 maybe from Pathfinder. And like the games like did very well like in terms of D&D. Like they're still selling. But that said, Daggerheart had 2,000 games and they sold out 2,000 games.
Yeah.
And so there's
But
definitely
they also had the, again, there's
the
always a
momentum going in. Yeah, there and the curiosity because it's brand
yes,
new.
yes, it's the newness
So
factor, right? The
yeah,
newness factor attracts especially a lot of those who want to explore, right? And
yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be, in the terms of marketing, whether they're not necessarily going to be early adopters. They are more just explorers at this point, right? They don't know if they're going to be early adopters. So
Here's yeah. Here's what I think I'm going to do. Like, I think we will start something where if people, because people are converting our modules, they are already doing conversions. Maybe we'll start some kind of group or something where if you do a conversion for a module, you can put it up and other people can kind of take a look at it. So if you're interested in doing that, or if you're just interested in doing it for yourself, that's totally fine too. But in terms of what we can actually handle right now, well, we got to get on
Yeah,
our
I mean,
guys and gags stuff.
you
So
know, you know the
yeah.
truth, Gamma Mandy. I mean, and by the way, for all of you the 180 people, because there's only about 180 people
Oh, this
who
is an interesting idea.
say
Could
it.
we do a contributors guild submission round? I would be interested in that. However, here's my issue is like whatever we do cannot have quality control because we can't manage like so like let's say we did a submission round like that. AJ would then have to learn every system for everything to do a quality control review, which then makes it difficult, you know? So I think more having like a group where people can kind of peer review and, you know, offer suggestions. That's where I'm and it's more like self-managed versus us trying to put out a quality product when we don't even know the systems or have to learn the systems.
Yes. And
Yeah.
you saw Gigi's suggestion. We could do a little poll and try to understand that. But
Yeah.
what I'm leaning to is trying to figure out how to because everyone who's been, I think almost everybody in this chat knows the gooey stuff is about tale, right? It's about story. It's about it's a much we try so hard to make it a deeper experience. And so the system is important because obviously a foundation of rules is critical for the game to be enjoyable and challenging and all the things that the game is. But the game system truly is a little secondary, right? Versus the story itself, which is the goal, right? The goal is to make the story engaging and captivating and mysterious and fearful and all of that stuff that we do.
Mhm.
And obviously our game masters, again, Mandy, I really believe this. One of the reasons why we have so many good game masters and we get so many good reviews because of those game masters is because of the tales that we're telling, right? Because as you advance as a game master, you want to tell deeper tales. You want to bring more experiential things to the table. You want your players to look at you, right? The greatest thing, I mean, we do all this stuff, right? We pay for food. We invite them to our homes. We buy them booze, right? All of this stuff that we do, and all we want to hear at the end of the night is that was a great game.
Yep.
That's all we want to just say that. Just say that was a great game.
Okay, well, this was like an impromptu conversation, and I
No, but
have
it's
to move
great.
us
It's
forward.
really
Yeah,
great.
this was awesome. So, okay, let's whip through the rest of social media super quickly so we can get to, you know, our movie discussion really quickly. I just thought this was a great piece of art.
Oh yeah. So Kishore did this, and it's based on Paul's concept because Paul did a tremendous amount of work on Crovenloft with me and me only sort of advising him, sort of running with it, and then Carrie's been working on it with Paul to kind of shape it up and edit it and get it in a final form for us to publish. And there's some wonderful creatures in there. I mean, it's a really good tale, and I appreciate Paul for hearing my heart about about what I wanted for Crovenloft and Stratanava and the tragic character that she is and all of the stuff that is there. Because I think the tale, I want this to really be a classic vampire tale that is different from many, but still steeped in that wonderful lore. And I think when people get Crovenloft, they're going to be wow. I think they're going to really love it.
Just really quickly, this is a cute video from Erin. She is doing monarch butterflies with stats.
Yeah, really, really, really cute.
So go check her out. That's awesome. I just have some interesting critters that were posted in the den.
No, dude, listen, this is very important, Camera Mendy.
Yes.
This needs to be a monster.
This
in
is
Zyathé. I need
so
you
cute.
I need you or someone to grab a damn screenshot of this thing, because this is like the cutest damn thing, and it needs to be a monster. So we need to take this and inspire this monster.
Yes.
Not this one.
The next Goo relation. It does kind of look
no,
like
this looks like a 1970s turtle. That's what it looks like.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. So Alan posted this. So your little miniature where you're on the steed, the snail steed, he took it and made stats for the snail.
Yeah, really good. I mean, and Alan's done a couple of these, and they're really, really fun.
We need to start, because Chet is going to do the art for it. We already have the mini. I do think this needs to go in Monstrica. I do think you just have to make it canon. I think you should just do it.
Mendy, giant snails already exist.
I'm just saying, but Charger.
No, Alphinius is not riding a flippin' snail.
You know what? I think under this right circumstances, he would do what needed to be done. Okay.
Listen, we're going to do the Temple of Excremental Evil, dedicated to Michelle and her group.
The chat is on my side here.
And
so
we're going to do listen. This is not always a democracy, Camera Mendy. There are times where the old man gets to put his foot down.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind would ride a snail? They are so slow. It's like trying to ride a Gooey Cube. It would take years to get anywhere. I'm going to the store.
I said under the right circumstances. Somebody post in the den what the right circumstances are. Dark Alchemy. Not all heroes wear capes, but some ride snails. This is super cute. Michelle commissioned Gracie, who's in the den, to do art of her dogs in as a bard and a paladin, and it's just super adorable. And when Gracie posts, let's all give her some love. She's great, and what a great. Like I said, this needs to be like a Saturday morning cartoon. Maybe a Sunday morning cartoon.
We are truly, cameraman, we are so blessed in the Gooey Den with so many amazing creative people. It is magnificent. And the things people post, the things people write, the things people say. And I tell you all this, I really want you to hear this. I look at sometimes I miss a post, but I look at virtually everything all the time, because you inspire me. You bring this wonderful smiles to my face, sometimes a tear to my eye, all of this stuff, because creativity is all about learning, right? It's all about growing and seeing and experiencing. And I'm always trying, as the old saying goes, to keep my spear sharp, right? I'm trying to sharpen my sword. And the den is a wonderful place for that. And I love it. Just love it.
Me too.
There's another creative individual.
And look, there's sorry. So the snail's name is actually Lightning. It's the
Lightning Charger, whatever. Yeah. Damn it. It's a damn snail. Okay.
Come on. You got it.
Listen, it's cute. I don't disagree that it's cute, but it doesn't have to be canon just because it's cute, Camera Mendy.
Okay.
Go back. Because this troll, I want to talk about this troll.
Go ahead.
So Harry did this troll long, long ago, right, Harry? I think it was a while back. And this troll is based on a monster in one of our modules. I'm trying to remember for sure because I don't want to mess it up. But I think that troll is based on that. And he just did a wonderful job with him. Just a wonderful job.
I agree. So much here. So much in the details. Okay. So Joe posted this. I'm going to just go over it super quickly. I can't even. Okay. We gotta get Joe on here. That's what we gotta do. We're gonna have Joe come on.
No, listen, cameraman. I told you this. Yeah. I told you this. I want to start doing guests with great consistency, because we have so many people. I want to bring on our people from the den. I want to bring on special guests. I mean, y'all, you don't understand. Ed Greenwood comments in our
I know,
chat, all
right?
right? I mean, we don't. This is insane, right? We have Luke Gygax is a regular visitor, and we can go on and on. I mean, Casey Rift. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And to be with this wonderful group is just, it's Todd Putnam. The man has 50,000 followers. I mean, it's just it's crazy. It's just crazy. And on and on. And of course, then there is the magnificent Harry Coit. Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
indeed.
Sculptor par excellence.
All this to say, Joe is very ingrained in like virtual D&D. He's
Yes.
doing really cool things out there. Go check out Joe's Discord. It's called Zoggerverse Studios. Joe is also like an incredible game master. He game masters for Gooey Cube. He's got so much energy, and he's working on a virtual con coming up here as well, because he likes the connectivity of people around the world. So
yes, we can't forget our marvelous Chet Minton, who is also who done some wonderful work for us, right? I mean, I could really go on and on. I mean, it's just crazy when you think about all of the relatively famous gaming people who hang about with us. Donnie and Andrea, I mean, it's just it's so many. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure that they take pleasure in being with us. That is the great honor.
Yes, indeed. Okay. So we're gonna shift over.
And by the way, I think the Dark Alchemy folks also just showed up a little bit ago.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. This streaming on YouTube thing is going great for us, and I'm loving this. So
we are the YouTube streamers now, Cameraman.
Okay, so we're gonna do this conversation in 18 minutes. The Goonies.
Hey, you guys.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay. First off, I enjoyed watching this movie. I hadn't watched it in probably like 10 years, I want to say. And it was fun. It was a fun revisit for sure. And I think the movie, like, yeah, there's a few product of its time moments in there, but overall, I think it really, really stands up still in 2025. Is that where we're at? Oh my God. Sorry, that's crazy. Anyway, let's break this down really quickly. I got a slideshow. We're going to go through the plot super fast.
Yes, Mandy made a slideshow. Now, listen, you got to make sure that the den has a chance to weigh in on this. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we're going to do our best to have a little discussion around the Goonies and what it all means. So, but make sure you pay attention to that den.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we start in the town of Asteria, which is undergoing some financial hardships. There's a country club that wants to take over this whole area and gentrify it and just make it all rich people stuff. And they're pushing out people who have lived there for a long time. And that's where kind of our heroes come in.
And yes, because they were all getting ready. They're making them offers to buy their homes, but the offers aren't great offers.
Yeah.
But they aren't. They don't want to leave, but it's kind of a catch as catch can kind of thing. Catch 22, as they say.
Yeah.
So anyway, keep going.
So this is the home of our heroes, and then you can just tell that's kind of home base for the whole group. And it's fun because they have a Rube Goldberg, is that right? Rube Goldberg machine in the front yard, which kind of is a good tip off to what's coming because One-Eyed Willie is all about those traps.
Yeah, the whole theme of the story, right? The whole theme of the story revolves around these interesting gadgets, gadgetry.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So they find a map. This is our group of heroes. We'll go into them in a little bit. But yeah, naturally you find a map, and that starts them on their hunt for treasure. I took this picture because one of the things I think that's really special about this movie is the heart. There's like there's 4 young boys, the older brother, and 2 young ladies that this movie centers around. And I just thought, it was really sweet to see that there's sentiment between these characters. There's history between them, and they fight like crazy, but then they also love each other. And I thought that was the heart of the movie, is how these people interact. Anyway, the map leads them to this abandoned restaurant.
I just need to say something real quick because I know Geeky did this. He has a note there. Said, I did start a Gloomies in the Blue Pearl Sanctuary for his orphans. And this absolutely is true. And I remember Geeky and I talking about this long ago when we were working on the Blue Pearl Sanctuary.
I love that. This is perfect. I honestly think this is a good one shot, or maybe a 2 or 3 shot. Like, if you were to break down the Goonies and actually just, like, put it in a fantasy setting and run it for your players, I think they'd have a flippin' blast. So yeah, so they go to the abandoned restaurant. We meet our villains there, which again, we'll talk about villains in a little bit. Ultimately, they have to go down. It's a big railroad. Like, that's one thing about this movie is there is a big railroad. They put themselves in situations and get pushed along the adventure.
Again, as I have said many times, Cameramendi, sometimes things happen to heroes that they don't want to have
Yeah.
happen to them, and that's just life.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
Ms.
we'll
Goo
talk
and I
about
have been railroaded a little bit this last couple weeks,
Yeah.
as you all know. So.
Yeah. But I'll talk about that. Okay, so at one point though, they do come to this like wishing well, and they have the opportunity to leave.
Correct.
So they could go up the wishing well because her high school asshole, there you go, I'm just going to say it, is waiting at the top, and he sends down the bucket to lift them up. So they could leave. And then Mikey, who's Sean Astin's character, gives a really inspiring speech convincing them to stay. Like, this is our time. We can decide what we do
If
here.
you think about it, he also did that in The Lord of the Rings, Cameramendi.
I mean, it's what he's really good at.
Didn't he play also that guy, Rudy, the football
Yeah.
kid? And he made an inspiring speech there. I mean, he's an inspiring speaker.
Yep. So all that to say, though, like, they do have the opportunity to leave, but our heroes continue on. Anyway, they keep following the cave, the clues down. There's lots of booby traps happening. We'll get into all that stuff in a minute here. While a group of our adventurers are doing that, we split the party, and Chunk meets Sloth. And they start forming their own bond. And this is another part of the movie that I think really still holds up to this day, especially knowing that it was 40 years ago that this was produced. The character of Sloth, I think just touches a lot of hearts. And I think that it's phenomenal what they did, in terms of talking about how we're all human and loving people.
Mandy, it's even for me, it was more than that. The relationship between Chunk and Sloth, and the fact that Chunk is he's kind of the outcast of the Goonies in some ways, right? He's the kind of kid who gets picked on a little bit and all that kind of stuff. And here he is, right, and united with another person who has experienced the same thing and sort of being a little bit of an outcast, right? Not quite accepted in the group in the same way as everyone else.
Well, his freaking family literally chains him to the walls. They literally view him as a monster, and that's so devastating. But also the idea that doesn't make him a monster. He's still human, and he finds love. And I just thought that theme was very well executed in this movie. Anyway, so sorry. Also, Adam says, could do a whole episode on how splitting the party is good for TTRPG play. And I actually agree with that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, anyway.
That would be a great discussion because it does offer interesting chances.
Yeah.
And if you can manage it as the
game
master, I just want to say this real quick. If you can manage it the game master and your players are good enough to not metagame, it's wonderful to have the one player set sitting there watching the other players and what goes on with them while the other players get to do the same when it goes back and forth versus taking them out of the room and all that stuff. There's pros and cons to both, but I love keeping players at the table to observe what's going on with the others.
Okay, I've written, that's a great discussion topic. Okay, where were we? Oh, in the end, they find the ship that is filled with treasure. They have a final battle. They become a family. I love. He's like, "You're gonna come live with me now." I'm like, ah! Okay. Anyway, but we have a heartfelt moment between these two characters, and in the end, our group of adventurers come together. They've saved the town, and it's just a wonderful, heartwarming movie. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hey, Josh Pop is in the chat. So also shooting into combat is what winners do. In addition to splitting the party, shooting into combat, yeah, exactly, with those fireballs too, with your party right in the center of it.
They absolutely shoot into this is a normal thing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about our characters. So this is Mikey, and I am going to say that he is a bard because his real power comes with his ability to inspire with his speeches. That is my opinion. So I'd love to hear. Hi, Linda, the gaming gal.
Hi,
We're
Linda.
getting so many people on YouTube. I'm just loving this. Okay. Anyway, so I think Mikey Bard. But I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah, Pam agrees with you.
Pam Bard. Yeah. Wonder whatever happened to the ship post movie.
Some assholes from the country club took a scavenger thing out there and got all the treasure for themselves.
There's no way.
But it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter because they had enough money from the gems in the pouch, in Mikey's pouch, to pay off all the debts and deal with what they had to do.
Yeah. So I think we're in agreement that Mikey is the bard. Okay. And Michelle says, I'm a ranger. I always shoot into combat. That's funny. Okay. Over here we have, oh my God, I have his name. What is, Brand. I think his name is Brandon. Okay. I took this screenshot because I want to know, for those people who were there, why the shorts over the sweatpants? Like,
that was a thing, Camera Mandy.
Why?
Camera Mandy, I want you to know that was a thing.
I know, but why? That's my question.
Why is anything a thing, Camera Mandy? You can go back through history and look at all these different things that make no sense now, but at the time they were cool. Now, honestly, I think part of it was if you lived in a cooler environment, right, and you were going to go play basketball outside or go work out outside, you just did that, and it's sort of, and if you think about it, it sort of gave its way to leggings, right? That was, and I agree with it. The 80s were a wild time. Yes,
oh my God,
that's very much. Now, honestly, my recollection is the shorts weren't quite so small and tight. We tended to wear a little more baggier shorts.
Yeah, I can't fathom it. I'm just like, you're in comfortable sweat. Okay, anyway, all that to say,
it also, cameraman, it gave you an extra layer for absorption for sweat. So there was
Chelsea
something.
says, I wear jean shorts over leggings and I look totes cool. I mean, I could see more with leggings because they're tight and it's like a style.
Okay, listen, let's not get off the deep end.
Okay, but anyway,
ask what brands, what
I'm going to say,
is.
Okay, my thing, I think he is a fighter. He's really into working out, more precision than like a barbarian. So
I think he's a paladin. I think his honor is amazing. I think he has a level. He serves a higher calling.
You know what? He serves his hormones like the entire time. He is there trying to make out with Andy.
Yes, he is always trying to get some smooches and more. There's no question. But that doesn't mean he's dishonorable.
I'm not saying he's dishonorable. I'm just saying that I think that he was serving a different purpose some of that time. So Akron Zero also says fighter.
He's definitely a fighter. The question is, does he move it to a different category?
Zerathon on YouTube says, no, we need to talk about this shorts over sweats thing for another 30 minutes. That's funny. Okay. And
Pam, I agree with you. He is that.
Harry says,
there's no question.
Oath of Bonding Paladin. Oh, Zerathon is Josh. Hi, Josh. Okay. Anyway, okay. Rick says I have to head out in a few minutes. Let's do #portrait. So yeah, let's go ahead and do #portrait because so this is to enter you.
Yep.
This gets you an entry
to win the portrait we're giving away. Mm-hmm. We're going to give it away in about 3 weeks. And remember, when you attend Goo Morning Zyathé, you get the opportunity for extra entries.
Yes.
Everyone will have a chance to enter one time via the Discord and one time via the Facebook. But if you do Goo Morning Zyathé and you do this is our bonus to all of our friends who tend to hang out with us on Saturday mornings.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Mouth. And I would argue he's also a bard, but he's more like a clown bard. Like he likes to goof around. He has this hilarious gag with the portrait where he puts his tongue through the mouth of a portrait. And Mikey goes, "You're ruining the portrait," and he says, "You're ruining my joke." And I just thought that was hilarious.
I think he's a rogue. He's a charming rogue, but I think he's a rogue.
So yeah, there's a number of people saying rogue or rogue/bard. Like multi-class.
Oh, a jester. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. We're going to keep going, though. He's multilingual. That is very true and very important to the story.
Yeah, very much important to the story.
Data, I don't think we can even have a discussion. He's an artificer or
he's a artificer without question.
Yeah. So all of his things are gadgetry, and he's very good. Chunk. I just had to screenshot this one picture because I thought this whole section was
a level
so
one
funny. No, I think he's a barbarian because like you can tease him and he can rage and he like
He does rage.
That's what they do is they get him so mad that he like bursts through the door. So and Taya says he's a mimic. So anyway, but
I loved when he was here and he was confessing. When he was confessing
everything and what he does with the vomit, and I'm just dying. So yeah, great. You know, the thing is, and this is what we're talking about, me and Alphinius were talking about this last night. The thing about Steven Spielberg and what he does with his actors, I mean, he really got these kids to like commit hardcore to who he gave them a character quirk, and he really like, you know, this character is annoying as hell. Like he's loud and he's just always like frantic and crazy and stuff like that. But I mean, it works so well for his character because he got these kids to commit to the bit, and it's hilarious. It's so good. Okay. Next up, we have Andy and Steph.
Yeah.
Andy, you know, I don't know. She plays music. She's the one who solves the music solving thing. Steph is just witty.
I think she's a wizard.
A wizard?
She's absolutely a wizard. Absolutely. She's thoughtful. She's got a quiet strength about her. She was a wonderful character. And I loved when she and Mikey got a smooch and the whole thing that went on there. I thought that was so cute. I thought that was just adorable.
I like that she was like fine with it. She's like, haha. Okay. Josh says Andy's background is noble and she's a paladin.
She is noble.
So So
she definitely said, I'm sticking with you guys, and she had a chance to escape and she did not.
Yeah. No, for sure. Now Steph, I don't have a good read on because like her she was mostly very witty, and kind of kept the momentum of the movie going, but I don't know what she's
also tough. She's also got.
I would agree that she's tough. Mm-hmm. So, Pam is saying also a rogue.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, next up we have Sloth. I think we can all agree, right? Barbarian. No,
he's certainly a fighter, and he certainly has the potential to be a barbarian. And he beat the snot out of his. He was not very kind to his family.
Well, they have not been kind to him. Yeah. So, yeah. But I'd be interested if there's any dissenting opinions or, but he's
I think you're right.
He's raw power.
Steph played the piano. I think you're right. I think you are correct in that Steph played the piano.
No, Andy played the piano.
Is it Andy who played the piano?
Yeah. I don't know if Steph does, but she wasn't really contributing to the puzzle. So, they're saying gladiator fighter for Sloth.
For Sloth. So, yeah. He was pretty amazing. Of course, coming across on the rope and
yeah, I love that. I love it. Okay. We're into our villains now. So this, I think, is talking more about story structure, what you should do with your campaign. And what I like with this movie is that you have two major sets of villains, and one of them is just kind of an overarching villain. And Firefly, or Serenity, the movie TV series like Joss Whedon did, also had a similar story arc where you have your overarching villain who's like ominous towards like a bigger thing. So like overall, the big thing, horrible thing that's happening is this town is getting taken over. But it's not the immediate threat that they have on their adventure until they become the immediate threat at the end. And
but the underpinnings of it, the underpinnings do live from the beginning, right? And that's the wonderful thing of it, because you're set up with this initial problem that you have no idea how the kids aren't going to solve this problem. Their parents are getting displaced from their homes. They're going to get kicked out and all of that stuff.
Right.
And I agree with you, Harry. The fact that there were multiple villains in this story was very interesting. But again, Spielberg, truly one of the greater filmmakers of our time, without a doubt. Always had these wonderful plots with some complexity, even in just his funky action movies. I mean, it's just amazing what he did.
Yeah. So I think it's just all that to say, I think it's smart to have a broader thing going on, and then you have your your immediate threats, which would be the Fernellis. Is that their name?
The Fratellis.
Fratellis, yeah. So who, I mean, it's mostly she's like the mastermind, and then she has her two like dopey sidekick characters who are her sons.
Honestly, she was one of the best in the movie. She was so good.
Yeah,
Just
because
so good.
she's such a good character actor, and like,
Mhm.
I mean, you can just look at her with her little pearl necklace or black thing. You just know who this character is just by looking at her. Costume
Yeah.
design was awesome. So I loved also the one son's singing. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes.
So, oh yeah, Akron Zero says A plot villains and B plot villains, and I think that's a great way to structure your campaigns. Is to have layers.
That's true.
So, and then of course you have One-Eyed Willie, who um, isn't he's not alive, but he's still a character in the movie. He's creating all these traps. He's the one who they're really trying to get to, like ultimately, and he's also the one who will stand in the way if they choose wrong. He's the one who's going to kill them with giant boulders falling or one of his traps. So, yeah. So
Yeah, and of course, the interesting thing about Mikey, of course, was that he also liked to make funky machines. He liked to make those things, right? That was part of his thing. And then, of course, you had Data, who was even more so, right? Who liked to do all that stuff. So you had all of this stuff going on in the background. So.
Yeah. All right. Really quickly, we're going to go through special items. So, and then we'll wrap up our discussion. So we got the map. Obviously, if you're ever playing D&D and there's a treasure map, I think it's great to create one however you can, whether you're just drawing it on a piece of paper with pencil or you're finding one online. I think treasure maps are something that could really immerse your players. We have them in Mornwood. We have several of them in Mornwood. And I think it's the best way to kind of capture your players' attention and get them moving along the path in terms of engagement. So who doesn't love a treasure map?
Who doesn't love a good treasure map?
This
is another great.
I know. I put this bike down as a special item because that thing lasted like crazy. Like this bike had to have some kind of magical reinforcement, is all I'm saying. So yeah, it has a giant boy on it, and anyway, so the doubloon.
The doubloon.
Yeah, that kind of sets the stage for. Although now that I'm looking at this, I'm kind of wondering if this was like a green screen because, like, look at. Sorry, I'm looking too closely at this. But the three rocks in the background and stuff like that. That is another puzzle that leads them on the path to getting where they need to go.
You might be right, Mandy. But anyway, let's not talk about
Sorry,
that.
I know. You're looking at his hair cut out, right? I didn't notice it during the movie. It's only through the screenshot that I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Dynamite. They find dynamite. Typical dynamite.
Dynamite is always a special item.
Do you think that they should be carrying around dynamite? Do you think it's safe? I think it's a terrible idea to put dynamite in the hands of kids, but
terrible idea.
Yeah. the bike was his steed. Tam says steed. Bikes were tougher back then. So Chester Cobblepot is a great use character as well. Fantastic. That is true. So and what we're talking about there is there was a character that they knew about who went earlier to try and find the treasure, and he didn't get very far. A boulder came and smashed him. He triggered one of the traps, and they find his body later on his skeleton. So
Cassius says, "Who wants safe dynamite?"
Yeah, right. Okay, this lantern I'm putting as a special item because of this. Like, it's like right next to the water. It gets wet, and yet it burns on. So definitely, I know you have to have light for a movie so that the viewers can see what's happening. But this was definitely like a +3 lantern.
The sets were fantastic. Yeah. The sets were just fantastic.
So the Baby Ruth bar I'm putting as a special item because it is a item of friendship, charming item. So
it definitely gave Chunk a +5 on his persuasion check.
Yeah, his charisma. Yeah, exactly. Okay, these are the pincers of peril, and it saves Data from this spiky death, which would have been unfortunate. And like those teeth have got to, I don't even know. The fact that
line is so good still to this day. Pincers of peril, pincers of peril. I've been saved by my pincers of peril.
Okay. Oh, Yep. And then that inhaler
No question.
for sure. But by the end of it, he doesn't need it anymore.
That was
So
the transition, right? That was the
yeah,
idea that, yep, that
yeah.
was wonderful. And it was
But
sort of a coming of age movie too, right? That was
mhm.
all part of the underpinnings of it. They kind of grew up, right, in that thing. It was kind of a passage of time. It was really, I mean, so much wonder to the movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is in like puzzles and traps thing. I think this is great for like any D&D campaign. So this key here aligns with like a certain set of stones, and then you twist it, and it opens up a thing. I feel like that's something easy prop that you could make for your players. You know, with just paper and something like you see them a lot in like boxes, escape rooms, and stuff like that. And I think it's a fun way to figure out what to do with the key, and you just align it with something like on the wall, and then twist it, and I don't know. I just thought it was a good idea. And then we also had the piano, which
Awesome.
this was kind of I don't know. I don't think it was. I think it was a cool set piece, but the actual puzzle of it, I'm not sure, because like all you have to do is know how to play piano, and there you have it.
Yes,
So
but if you didn't know how to play piano, you were screwed.
I know, but there's a few other like in even like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, like there's like this giant chessboard, and like unless like I mean literally the challenges are set up for like Ron, Hermione, and Harry to like be able to go through. So anyway, sometimes you have to have some convenient stuff like that, which is fine. At your table, play to your if you know that your player has a specific skill. If you know that they play piano, do
Give
something
them
like
a
this.
chance to shine.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So and this is just a good example of a trap.
Mostly it looks like to me a hand in dirt.
But don't pull a rope if you find it, is all I'm saying. Because like he finds the trap and then he activates it, like chooses to activate it. Anyway, but these are fun traps and all that kind of stuff. Okay, anyway, overall though, like that's basically my slideshow, is just talking about those things. Overall,
so I need to see the chat. Put on your rating of the movie. It's at least a 5, I think, for most people. If you think it was terrible, you can
5
give it
out of 10
to 10. 5 to 10. You know, what do you think? What is the level of the movie? And then I do think most people were saying when you said it, we were going to ask it at the end, but it definitely would be a fun little single shot, couple session adventure to go in and free willy.
So yeah, and my question to the chat would be, what elements of this would you pull for D&D? What are the best elements to pull? And I honestly think the villain structure that they did was great. I think I agree with Adam that splitting the party was a good idea, because you get invested in Chunk, and then you get further invested because he gets moments to himself where he's not irritating everybody in the group. Alan says 7-10, set up 7 out of 10, maybe 8. Harry says, I'd use the ideas in different circumstances. Ken says, find a rope sticking out of the wall. 2, explore the rest of the dungeon, but haven't found the BBEG. Head back and pull the rope. And that's very fair. So
I would definitely give it, it's an 8 to 9 for me. It's right in that range for me in terms of the quality of the movie, especially when you saw it at the time. It was so special.
Yeah.
I remember Ms. Goo and I saw that together, so that was fun.
Aw, really?
Yes.
That's so sweet. No, I also think it first off, I think it holds up today. I think that even like I can relate to the character of like Mikey, that wanderlust, that wanting to take control of your own future. I think that all of the characters are really well done, in terms of who they are just by looking at them. That Mouth is swarmy, and just the name Mouth. I know it's a nickname, but it just says so much. I think that I could see the role play in the movie. Like when I was watching it, I could see the kid actors really embodying their characters, and I think that's what we always aim for when we're at the table.
Yeah, Ruben put up a good comment, because I agree with it. Right, that's where you do give the chance for the party to opt out, right? If they want to,
use the well scene as a chance to escape, but it solidifies the determination of the party. It rallies them. So,
Am, you might be right about Ralph the Mouth. I remember that.
What was that? Ralph the Mouth. Okay. Kiminora says, Mandy, your microphone being in front of your eye like that is making me think it's shining into your eye, all futuristic. So, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I know. Anyway, yeah, I do think overall that I think this was a really good one to break down for the movie book club. I actually enjoyed this more than I think I did The Fifth Element. Don't hate me, but I think just because of the nature of how the plot moves along, it's structured more like a D&D camp, like a more manageable D&D campaign. I think Fifth Element, you could have kind of gone all over the place with it. That's probably more of a sandbox, whereas this one I felt like structurally, it led from thing to thing, and that's kind of what I enjoy if I was to play. So yeah, one of these hosts speaks only lies. Is that me? So it's a kids movie, and that might be it. I'm a very simple person.
Yeah.
So
No, I think it
I
is.
enjoy a simple, cute movie.
Yeah,
So
kids movie for sure,
yeah.
and it was it had that flavor and wonderment of it, and
Mhm.
really, really, I think very, very well done. So let's let these folks go, Camera Mendy.
Absolutely. Okay. Well,
If,
y'all
if
have
you
a
like
great
this, if you like this,
yeah.
give us some feedback in the den, and we're definitely we got a lot of comments in the past that it was good. So if we're doing a good job. Also, any other ideas you might have to
Need to do the movie It. I'll put
It?
that in the poll next time.
That'll creep everybody out.
Yeah.
But no, fun times, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're flying home, Ms. Goo and I, tomorrow. And I've had some, as I said, some good things happen out here. Thank you again to all of you who sent us dear messages and said nice things. It has put a little smile on Ms. Goo's face at times, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Everyone have a good Saturday.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.